Hello and welcome to the Wrestling Corner episode 54. I'm on my lonesome. And usually I'd go, that's bloody Simon, he's not up into, this was 100% my fault. I messaged him saying, can we do it early? I then didn't wake up early. And because we've got other stuff we need to do, I'm solo manning it. It won't be as long, it'll be quick. This is more of a recap show and a quick preview. But yeah, and I'm so used to saying, how are you, Simon? I'm guessing he's good. But we'll just go straight into it with AEW. So Darby Allin defeated Joey Janela. So that was a match that was made last week, and everyone going, oh, what about the win-loss record? But for the TNT title, it doesn't actually matter. These two have actually got a really good few, in terms of, I'm pretty confident, was it PWG and GCW? Where they've had so many matches. I think they were even as well. So Darby picks up the win, which is fair enough, and it sort of now gives Darby a win that he's needed. I feel like because he's been involved with this Sting thing for so long, he needed to just wrestle. It sounds so simple, but he just needed to wrestle. So I'm glad that. Highlights ahead from the conclusion of last week's main event. Kenta has kicked open the Forbidden Door, and if you've seen Impact, the Forbidden Door had opened. Outside the arena, John Moxley had works for Kenta, so they're fighting each other for the IWGP belt soon. I don't know when that is. I know it was on Strong, New Japan Strong. MJF was talking to the Inner Circle behind closed doors when Sammy pushed into the door. Basically, Sammy and MJF are having beef out. This has been brewing for so long. Sammy walks in on MJF filming him, and Sammy's happy, breaks MJF's phone, and that'll come into later. Cody Rhodes with Lee Johnson versus Pretty Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi. You know what? This match was okay. It wasn't this big. It wasn't this big tag team, but it was all about Lee Johnson from the Nightmare family, and I think he came from the Nightmare Academy. Was it making his debut? Arn Anderson's son. I don't know if it wasn't Lee Johnson's debut, but Lee Johnson picks up the win, which is good to see. Yes, it's against Peter Avalon, but that's what Peter Avalon is in the company for. If he wasn't there, you wouldn't have that person that could just take a big L. You had Dasha interviewed Hangman Page. It was great. It was great. So Page and Matt Hardy were talking. Page goes, Hangman goes, we're not a tag team in the making. And Hardy goes, I get it, you don't want to be a tag team, but it's undeniable, two of us together, we're special. At least let me take you out and we can celebrate a majestic victory. I rented an entire bar, you could drink all night, the tab's on me. It's big money night. And Paige goes, okay, let me go get my phone. Paige turns around and the entire Dark Order's there. And if you've watched the podcast, you know I've got a love for the Dark Order, and it was great where they sort of stare at each other. Paige walks past, Anna Jay gives him the best evils, Colt sort of goes for a high five, and Johnson just goes, maybe we'll catch you on the flip. Just so nerdy, but they're great together. I love the Dark Order. Interesting to see where this Dark Order Hangman Page thing goes. I didn't think it was over, but I was interested to see what was going to happen. So we'll wait to see what happens with that. Sorry, as I take a drink, I'm very professional. Then Pac beat Ryan Nemeth. Ryan Nemeth. If you don't know, Dolph Ziggler's brother. Great Twitter game. I know him and Dolph Revan, so Dolph changed it to a picture of Ryan Nemeth in the lock with in Pac's finisher. It looks awful. So he changed it to Dolph being shat on. But yeah, Ryan Nemeth just couldn't get started. Pac hits the Black Arrow, then hits the submission. Nemeth taps out, what you expect. Miro, a little promo from Miro, just saying how he's outraged at what happened. Chris Jericho and MJF versus the Acclaimed. I don't know what I think, because I really like the Acclaimed, and I'm not a fan of tag teams not picking up the win. And yeah, but they have a tag team contenders, so I sort of can't crap on them. But yeah, Jericho picks up the win, even if give MJF the win instead. You know what I mean? Not Jericho, the fucking Judas effect. But anyway, that happened. After the match, Sammy Guevara came out. And he's come, what's the problem here, man? You come out 5 minutes later and I hear you punch Max in the stomach, you smash his phone, what's wrong with you? And Sammy just replies with, Chris, I told you December the 9th, right here on Dynamite, if one more thing happened with MJF, I was done. And so I'm out here to say, I'm done. And Sammy just goes, I mean, I'm done. I quit the inner circle. Sammy leaves with his bags. He says, it doesn't matter, I'm over this, I need time to refocus. I just need time away from this place. And just see where that goes as well. Sammy has been showing a lot of babyface tendencies. And also, hi Chris, I just seen you comment. Aaron Hopewell, don't you be doing it, haven't for a while, but I still haven't watched it since Undertaker beating shit McMahon at WrestleMania. When they jump off the cage, yeah. Give it, you know what? As much as me and Sammy shit on it every week, it is genuinely entertaining. It's an entertaining wrestling show. All in all. So you take what you can get. Hardy and Hangman were both celebrating. Hardy pulls out a contract saying, if you would look at my deal, I can make millions upon millions for just a small percentage. Only 30% of your earnings. But when you make that much money, what's the difference? And Page goes, I think you're right, Matt. Hangman turns his back for a moment. Page switches the papers with his own. Does very Brody Lee-esque as he pulls out of his jacket. So interesting to see where that goes in terms of what his contract has Matt Hardy signed, because Hardy signed it. Tony Schiavone interviews Sting. It's the same segment every week. This time with no Darby, which is great. But it's a street fight. I think it's a street fight. Yeah, that tag team match, Darby and thingy. This is what it was. So Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, they weren't out with him, but backstage cutting them to dragging an unconscious Darby Allin, put him in a body bag, then just dragging him from an SUV. It's a lot of the same crap in it. The Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament, legit Layla Hirsch lost to Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa great. Layla Hirsch is a star in the making. I think she's incredible. Thunder Rosa gets the win. Also, that tournament was happening on YouTube because of Japan. And I saw people initially backlash it, but if you look at the presentation, it just wouldn't look right on main AEW TV. And then your main event, Falls Count Anyway, no DQ. Kenny Omega with Don Callis and Kenta versus Jon Moxley and Lance Archer. And good match. Incredible match. But all the wrestlers just selling themselves. Just selling it. I loved it. Like, just non-stop action. Just amazing. Omega pins Archer for the victory after help. Kenny Omega and Kenta victorious. The Forbidden Doors open. Just what does it mean for AEW? Very excited to see sort of what happens with them and just where to see this company go. I enjoy what they're doing. I'm also enjoying what WWE do, and I hate that there is a big hatred for either. I just think enjoy wrestling. This week, it was a great AEW show. It really was. A lot more wrestling than usual, in terms of more of a hardcore wrestling show. The only really big segment was the Jericho MJF, the Inner Circle one, but that lasted, I think, 7 minutes, so it wasn't even a long one. AEW just have to keep on churning what they're doing now, because they are a very, very consistent show. To be honest, I asked my mate who's still currently, he says, still a lot of wrestlers, still. Exactly. That's the thing. There is enough wrestlers that, if you wanted to rewatch it, you still have that affinity, you still know them wrestlers. But there is a lot of new ones that you can sort of find a love for, if that makes sense. So you could find that you've watched it when it was Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston, or The Miz, like early on when Miz was the main event in WrestleMania. You come back and they're all still there doing their own gimmicks, but you find a love for Damian Priest, Keith Lee. It's the beauty of wrestling. It changes but doesn't, if that makes sense. But we'll move to NXT Takeover, because we'll do the show and then we'll do NXT Takeover. Because obviously this was the show before and it set up a lot of stuff. So we had MSK defeated Legado del Fantasma. So they MSK advanced to the final. Great match. MSK are stars, and we know the stars. Legado, we know they're great as well. And this match, great cruiserweight match, could have been on 205 Live, but I'm glad it was on NXT. And yeah, MSK pick up the win there. Xia Li with a new character. She beats Cora Jade, which I think is Priscilla Kelly, if you remember her from the Indies. But yeah, beats her. And after Katsura and Caden Carter tried to get involved, but Mei Ying said no, beat him up. She did, and Tian Sha, sorry. Yeah, mental. This Xia Li has reborn herself incredibly well. This entire new gimmick is great. The look, the style of it, the ruthlessness of the offense, the viciousness. I think the promos are great, even though it's not in English. I think sometimes Asuka is the one that speaks out where she's been unfairly criticised for her promos because, well, she's not English, she doesn't speak it. But they've done very well here with Xia Li and and Boa and Tian Sha, sorry. Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon defeated Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell the way to go through into the final. To advance to the final. This is one of the matches where you go, okay, anyone can win. It's most like the babyface, and that happened. All 4 women in this match are incredible, and yeah, Shotzi and Ember go through to the final. Kushida defeated Austin Theory via disqualification. Again, this just set up the match at NXT Takeover. But more importantly, after Kushida hits in the hoverboard lock on Gargano, Lewis looks Theory in the silence. Now we'll see when later on at Takeover. Very like the storytelling, really like. Cameron Grimes returned after coming back from injury. I think it was Ryan Satin tweeted out saying, I'd love for when Cameron Grimes returned to come as this guy who's made a bunch of money off the stock market and GameStop. Perfect, because that's what he did coming back. Basically, for the first time in nearly 2 months, he returned, and he was nearly unrecognisable. Cameron Grimes revealed he came into money thanks to his investment in GameStop. And I can't wait for this. I can't wait. It's going to be great. It'll just be a new level to his character. We thought he was an obnoxious prick before. Wait until we see what happens next with him, with all this money as well. And then the main event, it was GYV defeating Tommy Champs and Thatcher. Again, this is another one where if it was Ciampa and Thatcher, I could see him become the heels in this match. But no, it's interesting. Okay, I was not a fan of Thatcher and Ciampa teaming up. I think it leaves them dead zone. I'm glad it's over. I am. And I'm glad that it's GYV now. Because GYV are great. And that final, incredible. But we'll run through actual NXT Takeover if I can find the card. Because something happened and I wasn't happy. I might have to just type it in, NXT Takeover. There we go. Something happened and I just wasn't happy with it. Not in a bad way. So we had Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez defeating Ember Moon, so the first winners of the Women's Dusty Rhodes. I think we expected that. I think Ember Moon Shotzi, this makeshift team, Dakota and Raquel have been together for a while. I mean, it's not stopped them before, but I think it just makes sense with everything that's going on. So yeah, Dakota and Raquel pick up the win, and so they will get a future opportunity at the Women's Tag Team Champions. So yeah, well, it's interesting who that will be and when. Johnny Gargano defeated Kushida. Gargano gets the win, but when they were making the entrances, they're all walking out together the way. Austin Theory is a step behind him. Loomis appears, chloroforms him, and then steals him. And then Loomis has just been putting pictures of himself up on Theory's Twitter. So again, Loomis is such an interesting character that I sort of want to see which way it goes. What do you think of the Adam Cole heel turn? We'll come on to it literally a couple of seconds, Jay. But yeah, Gargano picks a win, which is a shame, but I think this is Kushida's really breakout time. I think it is. I think it's his time to really shine now and move on to the big things. MSK are the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals, and wow, what a push you are giving MSK. I think GYV are great, but they're clearly all in MSK. Again, this card had no bad matches, really didn't. And this definitely wasn't one of them. MSK pick up the win. They've got a future shot at the NXT Tag Team Champions, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. But we'll wait to see what happens with that. But yeah, MSK, from debuting a month ago to now winning, well done to him. We know they were going to be pushed high, but maybe not that high. The women's match, Io Shirai defeated Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm. And again, what a match that could have gone 20 minutes longer, but they said they didn't want to. Perfect timing. Great match. Interested. I think in a post I made Triple H credited the three men for moving past the issue developed. So I think that was a lot of the stuff we're breaking, etc. But great match. Tony's a star in the match. I think she'll be the next champion. Mercedes Martinez is a beast, and Io Shirai is just the champion. She's great. But the main event, I will try to rewatch it to be honest. What's happening, even though that's the thing, it's hard to get back into it. But once you find a storyline or a wrestler that you're really intrigued with, it's not hard. to get back into it. But Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne in the main event, he beats him. And you know, great match. For me, it's all about after. So after the match, Finn's on the ramp celebrating. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch attack him. Dunne joins in and just beats Finn Balor up in the ring. Keep on beating him up. Who makes it? It's the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, who's sort of become a good friend of Finn in the while. They fend him off. Dunne, Burch and Lorcan leave. And then, great. So O'Reilly helps Balor up and they talk to you like, we're going to do it. Are you going to do it? They all stand in a line. Era do the Era pose. Balor puts his finger up to do like the gun symbol. Boom! Super kick to Finn Balor. Great. Adam Cole's like, whoa, what? This isn't the moment, but I liked it. Adam Cole, he's great at this out of nowhere spot. Love little super kick. O'Reilly's just going, what are you doing that for? Why? Why would you do that? And if you look at the way Adam's standing, he is standing, but you're thinking, nah, not now. And then, boom, another super kick. This had to Kyle O'Reilly. They've broken him up, and the ending was great. So Cole super kicks Kyle O'Reilly. O'Reilly sells it great. He leaves the ring. Cole comes, come on, Roddy. And it ends with O'Reilly and Balor in the ring. Cole at the top of the ramp. And then Roddy in the middle. And then we see where Fish comes at the end as well. But the era's breaking up. The era's gone. I'm so sad. I love Undisputed Era. They're great. But I think not that it had to happen, but for sure you would it gives you a new life to all these four wrestlers. But I think just the ending of Balor and O'Reilly in the middle of the ring, Cole at the top, and then Strong just stuck in the middle. Like, well, do I follow Cole? Do I go with Thingy? Really interesting to see what happens with this feud, with this not even a turn, but because Adam Cole is a heel, he's a dirty heel. But very, very interesting what happens there. Incredible card. Incredible. Takeovers always blow out the water. Some of the best wrestling shows to me. Short, sweet. Matches are great. The storytelling's great. What more can you ask for them? Have a quick drink. But what more can you ask for? Absolutely nothing more. We'll move on to SmackDown though. Got for nearly 17 minutes, God. It was only supposed to be a half-hour podcast. Quick recap. SmackDown. Roman Reigns was to face the winner of SmackDown's Elimination Chamber on the same match. So it was announced that, obviously we know the Raw stuff's going on, but on SmackDown, another men's Elimination Chamber match. This time, whoever wins. So initially, Adam Pearce planned for Roman to defend the belt in the Chamber, much like Drew is. Paul Heyman would explain that Reigns would not compete in the Chamber. He said Reigns will face the winner on the spot. So the match will happen, the Chamber match, and then straight after, the Championship match will happen. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. If it's KO, does KO do the Valiant thing? Oh, so interesting. In response, Pearce announced that they would have superstars qualified to be in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match, which is how it should be done. The exception to that would be superstars that had taken the big dog to the limit, Jey Uso. Because, well, he's going to be that guy who, he's going to get the win. No, he's lost. It's the babyface. Kevin Owens would also make, and Pearce announced that Kevin Owens would make the cut. Reigns got pissed off with that, but Owens makes sense that these two get the automatic spots in. But we did have our first qualifying match practically straight afterwards. Sami Zayn and King Corbin defeated Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. Surprising. Very surprising, I think. But I think since November, every single one of Dominic's matches on SmackDown have involved Corbin in some way. But Zayn picks up the win on Dominic. I'm all happy with Zayn and Corbin being in the match. Really, I love Corbin. His moveset's great and Zayn is incredible. So I'm all happy with that. Big E defeated Nakamura in an Intercontinental title open challenge by disqualification. Again, this Intercontinental feud is slow. It's a slow one, but I think it could be huge. I'm hoping it's a big Intercontinental ladder match, Mania. Big E, Nakamura, Apollo, Cesaro, and a couple of people that were in the Elimination Chamber match. And I'm all for it. Or even a triple threat, but I think a ladder match would be great. A ladder match would be really great. Reginald apologised to Sasha Banks. Reginald's very decent. It's funny. Seth makes his return, so Seth comes out to burn it down, I think, which was a bit of a ploy, but he comes out. All the superstars are laid out outside the ring, which is not laid out, all stood around the ring. Seth's just cutting a promo how returning to SmackDown for the first time, Seth Rollins come that having a baby had changed him. Before long, he once again declared himself as the leader of the locker room in true SmackDown saviour fashion, causing the gathered superstars to all the superstars left, apart from one. Cesaro stayed longer, and Rollins believed he has heard his message, and then Cesaro just leaves him. Rollins snapped, attacks him. Cesaro and Seth match. All four Cesaro and Seth a feud. Bayley defeats Liv Morgan. Street Profits defeat Otis and Chad. Just poor tag team miscommunication. Sasha Banks and Bianca humiliate Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Who cares? Daniel Bryan and Cesaro qualify for the Elimination Chamber match. After the match, Jey Uso, King Corbin and Sami Zayn all hit the ring. Big brawl. Typical. When all the people are announced, they all have a brawl or a gauntlet match. As we'll see. Again, a very decent SmackDown. Just because the turnaround's so small, they did a very good job. Big tag team matches where you can get the winners for the big Elimination Chamber match, and then it gives you next week to have a big promo off where all these wrestlers will go, well, this is why I'm going to win. Blah, 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 blah. Typical wrestling things. I've seen bits of WWE when my mate was watching it back in June 2018. Shinsuke Nakamura's shithouse for wrestling with all the low blows, I remember. The mental thing is, Chris, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And he was doing all these low blows. It was a strange time in wrestling, for sure. But we'll move on to Monday Night Raw. Where is it? There you are. So obviously this was last night. Riddle and Lucha House Party defeat the Hurt Business. I'll be honest, I'm getting a bit sad. I am. I'm getting a bit sad of just Riddle and Hurt Business again. But at least it's Riddle, Lashley, Lee. Elimination Chamber this Sunday. Bad Bunny wins the 24/7 belt. He'll keep that now because he's performing at SNL. They'll try and get that promotion in, so he'll wear the 24/7 championship, I'm guessing. Charlotte Flair and Asuka defeat Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce by disqualification. This is because Lacey Evans declared she was pregnant. And Flair, when Rick was screaming, Charlotte was no. I think Lacey Evans is genuinely pregnant as well, possible. I saw rumours that it was actually true, so congratulations to her and Rick, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, Lacey's actually pregnant, so that caused the thing. Strange. Now, this was interesting. So The Miz said he was stepping away from the Elimination Chamber match, basically inciting that he doesn't it makes a lot of sense. He basically went, I don't want to jeopardise my body. And I've got the Money in the Bank briefcase. It doesn't make a difference to me if I'm in that match or not. I'd rather be fresh enough. So he says, I've agreed a deal where so he basically wrestles Kofi Kingston. If Kingston wins, he's in the match. He takes Miz's spot. If Miz wins, Morrison gets it. Kofi picks up the win with the Trouble in Paradise. He gets that opportunity again. Interesting where they're going with this, especially with the Retribution stuff with Xavier. But you know what? Good way to get Miz out of the match, and he's still got the briefcase. I feel a bit sorry for Morrison. I would like to see Morrison in there, but you know what? I kind of like it. If you keep doing low blows, it's like you won't be getting anywhere. We won't. Chris, we won. Luckily, he hasn't done it for a while now, but God, that year might be such an awful year. Oh God, Shayna Baszler defeated Lana. But what was sort of the main event of the show was a big boy gauntlet match. The winner would earn a final entry into the Elimination Chamber match. So it's opened off with AJ defeating Kofi Kingston. Of course, Kofi was a bit tired from the early match. AJ picks up the win. Drew then goes and beats AJ. Drew then goes and beats Hardy. He beats Randy Orton. Now this was the thing. So Drew throws Orton on the outside. Or Orton goes on the out. All of a sudden, the Thunderdome lights go down, and then Alexa appears. Just start laughing on them. Randy's very confused. He's looking around. He gets counted out, and then he gets claymored. Just prolonging the thing. I think the Fiend's appearing in the Elimination Chamber. He's going to come from the cage, is my guess. And then you saw main event with Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre, where Sheamus hit the bro kick to get the dub. So he will enter the match last, which, again, storyline sense, it makes the right sense. But and a really boring Raw, like it's getting hard to watch, but it is definitely not. It's a drag. It's a flipping huge drag. But yeah, so also Lacey versus Charlotte. Lacey versus Charlotte isn't happening now. I can't. I don't. It's maybe actually. I don't know. Who knows? But the matches for Elimination Chamber are Drew McIntyre versus AJ versus Jeff versus Randy versus Sheamus versus Kofi for the WWE Championship. Who do I go for? I think we're going to go Drew. It makes all sense. Or gets maybe final one, Fiend gets involved or something. Asuka versus Lacey Evans, I don't know if that's happening. Lashley versus Lee versus Riddle. That's be a great match. I'm going to go Lee. I think Lee might win. And then Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens versus King Corbin versus Sami Zayn versus Sarah versus Daniel Bryan. Very tough one to call. I'm going to go with KO because the winner will face Roman Reigns later on where Reigns will win. But interested to see what happens with that. Very interesting to see what happens with that. Indeed. But thank you very much for joining me today. It's only a short episode because that was my fault. I do apologise, Simon and everyone. But we'll be back next week with the Elimination Chamber review. So that'll be very fun. That'll be episode 55. Don't forget to check us out on the Twitter at @_top corner, the sports-corner.com, the _sports corner _ and the YouTube, the sports corner at youtube.com/the sports corner YT. But don't forget to check out the sports-corner.com. Thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you next week for episode 54. Oh, I do love a cheeky short episode.